Hi, everybody. It's 3 o'clock on April 3rd, and here we are for another Female Founder Friday session. And what a week it has been. I can't even begin to describe what it's been like this week. I think there are hundreds of companies like myself who have been trying to gain financing through these PPP loans, and it's so difficult because nobody knows what's going on, including the banks, because they're all trying to pull something together absolutely so fast. So if you are a female founder and you do have employees and you would like to find out a little bit about these PPP loans, feel free to ask some questions during this time. But I just promise you, we have things that are a little bit more fun to talk about than that. And it has just been a crazy, crazy week with this timing happening. So what I wanted to talk about is something that kind of took me a long time in business to learn, and I want you guys to learn it a little quicker. Sorry, I'm trying to get in the right position for this. So the subject today is it's better to be different than better. And I think that that's an important concept. And it took me a little while to figure out, like, what are you talking about? But let me explain. So first of all, one would imagine that if I have a jewelry company, which I do, that as long as I do it better than everyone else, as long as I have better service and a better product and do it better than other people, that I will be the most successful. That's logical, right? Well, it's true, and I do want to be better than anyone, and my whole team tries every day to make that happen. But there's another concept to be had, and that is that you have to be different and have something totally unique in order to differentiate yourself from other people. And I cannot impress upon the importance of that in your business and in making you an unforgettable brand. What was it that Coco Chanel said? In order to be irreplaceable, you have to be different. Well, that's exactly it. So I want to take a story about a girl named Grace Vanderwall. I don't know if you know who she is. She was on America's Got Talent, and she actually won, I think, in something like the 9th season. Don't quote me on that. And she was a little girl. I think she was like 12. And she had this little tiny ukulele, pardon me. And she had a very cute little voice, and she got up in front of everybody and she performed one of her own songs, which happened to be really, really good. She sounded different from anyone else. The lyrics of her song were different from anyone else. And she really had her own unique thing going on. She had this little raspy voice. And what was interesting, and that's where I really learned my lesson, is she was not better than any of the other singers that performed through the entire season. In fact, most of the other singers were actually better than she. But she was different. She had her own thing, her own unique style. She was not performing somebody else's songs. She was simply being who she was in her own way. And because she was so different from anything they had seen before, and she sounded so unique compared to everybody else, she actually ended up winning. And I think that that is the key here. I think it's very important when you have a company or a brand that you set yourself apart from everybody else with a different look and feel of your brand. Now, I have quite a bit to say on this subject, but feel free, I'm watching who's joining. Feel free, if you have any questions about this subject or another, feel free to type them in, and I'll try to catch all of them. I missed a couple last week, but I'll try to catch all of them. So anyhow, when I first started my company, I was in Soho on Prince Street. And during that time, the whole white wall look, lofty look with, stainless steel metro shelving, that had already been around for a long time. So I started my company in 2002, and I opened my first retail store on Prince Street and West Broadway in 2004. And when I was starting to open, everybody was saying, well, if you're moving into that neighborhood, you have to look like everybody else's store, and you should really look at the stores around you and see what style they're in, and you should do it in that kind of a style because obviously that works in that neighborhood. And I'm like, no. If everybody's doing something one way, I definitely want to do it the other way. So what happened was everything was really white and sleek and empty and lofty. I remember Dolce and Gabbana was really like stark and white and lofty. And I said to myself, jewelry is about love and abundance and richness, and it's something that's a gift of love and something that should be sexy and a gift of love from one another. So I designed my store in a very kind of boudoir looking way. So I didn't want it to look too fancy because I didn't want people to think like we're too expensive and they couldn't afford me. But also I wanted it to be luxurious and cool, but kind of boudoir and kind of funky. So I actually designed the entire store myself. I did it purposefully because I didn't want it to look like a professional brand. I wanted it to look really, really unusual and interesting. Oh, here's a question. What do you think sets your company apart from other jewelry companies? Oh, wow, that's a good question. How much time do you guys have today? I think the main thing that other people think sets us apart is that when you come into our store, it's a really warm and relaxed atmosphere. It's not an atmosphere that people come in and feel really uptight. It's not kind of like walking into a Fifth Avenue jeweler where they're in suits and there's the salesman behind the corner, behind the showcase trying to sell you something, and often they're scripted. I didn't want that. I wanted people to be able to come in on the weekends in their gym clothes with their coffee cup and their dog in their hand and come on in and sit down and look at diamonds. So I wanted it to be a very comfortable shopping experience. Our customers, my guys who are buying engagement rings for their girls, they're in suits and ties all week. The last thing they're going to wear on a weekend is a suit and tie. So I really wanted to make it super cash and approachable for people who were doing, coming in on the weekends. Also, wow, it says, how would you describe your brand in 3 words? Can I use 6? Exquisite design, unsurpassed workmanship, thoughtful service. If you need me to narrow it down to 3, I will. I don't know if I can, but I will. I'm not a lady of few words. So let's see. How would you describe your brand in 3 words? Okay, I think I got it so far. So let's see. The other thing that makes our brand really different from other people is that we offer very, very high quality craftsmanship. In fact, if it's not the best in the world, there is no better worldwide. And let's see, what does that say? Something? 6 is perfect. Thank you. She said 6 words is perfect. Thanks. So anyhow, what was I talking about? We had I didn't want people to feel like uptight and having a formal atmosphere. But we also offer a really high quality product. I say if it's not the most high quality product in the world, there is no better. But we offer it for prices that you would find, let's say, on the internet, or prices that you would find on in the Diamond District in a various city. So my business model was to make the most amazing quality I possibly could at the price that any competitive price that someone would be searching for, and something where the ring actually had intrinsic value. That was really important to my husband. He's like, I'm not charging this much for it because it's not worth that much. It has to have intrinsic value. So he was more instrumental in keeping the price down. This says, how do you think MP will set itself apart during this new time? Virtual retail experience, how will your white space change? Wow, that's a great question. Trust me, we've all been wondering that and thinking about that. Before this started, when we found out we might have to close, we already set up the ability to go virtual and set up a Zoom appointment thing where people filled in online. They can go on our website and fill in a diamond appointment, or just a discussion appointment online. Book one of us, and then we will organize a Zoom appointment. They pick a time, fill in the calendar, we go on, and we get to talk to people. I just got another question. How has this tumultuous time inspired you personally, and how will you deal with it? Well, how has it inspired me personally? First of all, it's given me a bit of a heart attack, not for obvious reasons. I'm not concerned for my business. I mean, it is a concern, but I'm not concerned for the longevity of my business. And I am not concerned for how we're going to end up out of this, as much as it's just been a harrowing experience from day to day trying to secure loans. Do we have our employees furloughed? Do we possibly decide to uh, get a PPP small business loan, or do we just go on the small business website and do we go for a regular small business loan? And then, okay, once we make that decision, which of course nobody has any answers to at all, anywhere, my accountant, my lawyer, the banks, nobody knows anything yet. Then it's like, okay, now that I've decided and tried to research all the information I possibly can, what choices do I make? So that's been a harrowing experience, but I'm not really worried about like the long-term results of this. Not yet. I don't feel, knock on wood, and I have wood right here, I don't feel like it's going to be like a terrible experience for my business. I think if people are going to get engaged in 2020, they're going to get engaged in 2020. If it's not now, it will be later. But I cannot tell you how much success that we've had with virtual appointments. So I couldn't be happier. Oh, here's another question. Let's see. How much time do you think someone needs to plan for a custom engagement ring? Let me see. I'm starting with water. I'll go to wine later, I promise. Let's see. I don't think you need a lot of time to plan for a custom engagement ring. Oh, I hear my little puppy coming in the room. Max, you can lie down now. He's wagging his tail. So anyhow, I just think that you don't need to take a long time to plan. You need to figure out what you like, and then you need to sit with people like us who do know how to figure that out, exactly what you like, and get on like a virtual consultation. It can just be a discussion like we're doing right now. And we can ask you all the questions you need to be asked for you to ascertain exactly what you want. And once you know what you want, you only need like a few weeks for us to make it. Now that's if you're willing to get something like that online, or if you want to see diamonds in person. But the ring itself only takes 3 to 4 weeks, although we say 6 to cover ourselves. But it doesn't take that long to plan. If you talk to one of us, you can cut your time down 90%. Have you been able to take any of the lessons or experience you gained after 2008 or 9/11 to help you now? Wow. What an insightful question. Well, first of all, for those of you who were not here in 9/11, and I was, wow, that was a crazy time. And it had that same eerie, weird, creepy feeling that you feel when you're walking out on the streets of New York City now. And when this first started coming down, this whole COVID-19 thing, I said to a security guard that was in our store, I said, doesn't this feel to you like 9/11? And he said, yes, but worse. And I have to say, after 9/11, we were, sorry, I'm reading questions as they're coming in. We were like restricted in New York, but only below 14th Street. So the rest of New York was open. People were like really being kind to each other and opening doors for each other. And we were all kind of in shock and just teaming up together. It was a really interesting time. But the difference is that it wasn't like the whole city was on lockdown. So the experience, 2008 didn't affect my business that much. We really rallied through it. And I think the experience I took from it is keep moving forward and keep going and make it happen. That is my hopeful, like if you ever have to learn one thing from me in this whole entire series, it's just make it happen. It's all in your control. It says here, will the price of diamonds be impacted by our crisis? Very, very, I don't know who you are, Cat Fufu, but that's a great question and I look forward to meeting you. I do have to say that I don't think that the diamonds are going to be highly impacted by this crisis. I did have some couples who were really, really hoping that it would be, and guys that actually were trying to use this time to bargain with us and get a better deal. But here's something that I told him, which I believe is true. And again, time will tell, but here's what it is. And I'm hoping that I'll be able to get to all your questions. I'm going to try to get to all your questions. They're coming up faster than I can answer, but I'm going to do my very, very best to try to get to all of them. If not, I'll find some time this week to go back and answer them. But The price of diamonds being impacted now does not really quite compare by this 2 week period or month or 6 week period to how what happened last year affected it. What happened last year was the creation and market of lab created diamonds into the United States, into the worldwide market of diamonds. And what happened was, up until a couple of years ago, you had a couple of products. You could buy if you wanted a white glistening stone, you could buy like a diamond or a white sapphire that does not reflect light in the same way, but it's white and it's a precious stone. Or you could buy like a CZ or some product like a CZ, which is kind of like a fake diamond. But a couple of years ago, really mainly like last year, it really started to infiltrate the market. There were lab created diamonds, which are diamonds that are like diamonds but created in a lab. It's not a product I recommend because eventually they will have no value and I can't sell them because I don't want my customers screaming at me, coming back to me and saying, you sold me something that is now worth nothing. So I won't do that. Point being though, it really interrupted the diamond market and it really took a lot of business temporarily away from De Beers and the other diamond consortiums and different diamond tiers around the world. So that had a huge impact on our business. What is 2 weeks? 3 weeks, a month and a half is a blip in our economy really going to do to the diamond market? I don't think that much. Look, maybe guys that were spending $40,000 on a 3-carat diamond ring are going to buy a 2-carat. But if they're going to get engaged, they have to get engaged. And unless they lost their job and they have to wait till next year, I don't really see this having as big of an impact as this gigantic impact we had last year. So let's see, do you actually meet with clients and help them choose when this is all over? I would love for me and my boyfriend to plan with you. Oh, totally. We love to get together with couples and we completely help them choose. It's something that's very easy to do if you know how to do it. You just have to know how to do it. And we and my team, myself and my team, you can speak with Nasreen, you can speak with Mila, you can speak with Jane or myself, and we will ask you all the questions that you need to know in order to figure out exactly what you really want. And it's super easy when you know. But what I would do is, if you want to buy your diamond ring and actually touch and feel the setting and touch and feel the diamond you're going to purchase out of a selection of diamonds, you can wait until we reopen. But I would start the conversation going now, letting us try to help you figure out what you like, showing you some pictures, showing you some settings, and giving you an idea so that you know pretty much what you want by the time we reopen and it's ready to select your stone. Or you can even look at stones over the internet with your boyfriend. At least it's a good educational experience. But yeah, it's much easier if you have somebody walk you through the process, and because they know how to help you ascertain what you want. Let's see, choose when this is all over. I would love to come in. So that's the answer to that question. What would your advice to other business owners who are in a similar predicament right now? What would it be? Well, I have a lot of advice for business owners, and I want them to tune in every Friday so that I can give them like each week a different topic on different business advice. And I do think that the advice, getting back to our original subject, which is that it's better to be different than it is to be better, is something that I want to continue talking about. And I think that is advice I would give them. But during this particular time, I'd say forge along. Look, if you have to furlough your employees, and so that they can collect unemployment until you can reopen so you don't go bust in the process, I think that everybody would appreciate that. And if you have to apply for this payroll protection program loan so that you can keep your employees and stay in business, do that. Do whatever you need to do financially to carry you through this time. There are 3 things you can do. Item number 1 is you can go to the SBA Small Business Administration website and you can go apply for a loan on that. Another loan, and I don't know if one precludes the other. That's information I have not yet gained, so you've got to know that first. The best loan right now out is a loan that turns into a grant, which you've all heard about, called a PPP loan. It's like payroll program something. Anyhow, I knew a few minutes ago. That loan gives you 2.5 times your payroll. And if you use it on payroll and rent and utilities, 75% of it has to be towards payroll. Then they will give you the money and turn it into a grant. And you'll never have to pay it back. So I want that one first before I move to the other loan that you will need to pay back. And then thirdly, you can furlough your employees, have them on unemployment until it's time to come back to work. And you can do a combination of those. It doesn't just have to be one or the other. So do that, forge ahead, and ramp up your social media and amp up and ramp up everything you possibly can to let people know, getting my water, to let people know you're still in business. That's really, really important because some businesses actually went out of business this time. And I want people to know that you're still in business. So that's the biggest piece of advice. So I'm sorry if I missed one or two of your questions. I'll try to answer them during the week. I'm not getting off now. I'm just going to start back onto the topic I started with. So I think it's really important if you have a brand or a company to offer something different and to have a different look and feel than everybody else. I've recently become a little bit more involved with that. I always loved the look and feel in my store. When we moved from Prince Street to our current location in the meatpacking district, I really wanted to have a store that had a really unique vibe. Most jewelry stores across the United States, if you'll notice, kind of look like a men's club inside. They have large, big wooden showcases and kind of beige walls and beige carpeting, and they all kind of have this men's club look. Well, I wasn't going to do that because it did not reflect my personality. It does not reflect the look and feel of my jewelry. So we did like a really fun, beautiful shop with lots of chandeliers and French moldings and made it super, super, super pretty inside and really feminine and graceful. And that was the look that I was looking at because I needed something that looked the same quality as my product and also that had the look and feel of the quality that I represent. And I wanted something feminine and pretty for jewelry. So my store looks very different. But I was having a little trouble translating that to my online digital platforms. So what I did is I've enlisted this designer, Erica Bruchtel, to really help me translate the look and feel of my store onto all my social platforms. We have not made the shift yet. It was supposed to be this week. It still may be another week or so, but I'm going to have that new look and feel to my website. It's going to be gorgeous. I cannot wait for you guys to see our new site coming up. It's not really a new site. It's just like a refresh of like an interior decoration of my site. And our Instagram, we've started shifting over to a totally unique look so that when people are flipping through on Instagram and looking at rings, they'll see one of my images and say, oh yeah, I know that's Marisa Perry. So that was really important to me, to differentiate yourself. And I think that I want to kind of go back to talking about how important differentiating yourself is. And I want to explain it a little further. I think using musicians in this application is really, really a great idea. You'll notice that there are many incredible singers out there that have beautiful, beautiful voices, and they might sing other people's songs. But the rock stars and the musicians that really, really make it are the people that wrote their own music and have their own voice and are communicating something in their own that reflects their own personal style. And they're creating like real art rather than just singing other people's songs. Those are the people that get famous. Take Billie Eilish for a second. Okay, so maybe she and her brother were creating music in their bedroom, and that alone is different in itself. But, maybe they were just making songs and making music because they were homeschooled and they were bored and they wanted to do something fun together. And obviously they're very talented. But she's got her own sound. She has her own unique voice, her own unique sound, and they create their own unique music. That's the combination, and that can be translated through a lot of businesses. Take interior designers. If I want to become an interior designer and I simply copy everything that I have seen on Architectural Digest, I'm not really going to have an individual unique style. Like, who cares? They could hire any designer to do that. But if I want something that's really interesting and that has a really, really unique feeling, like Kelly Wearstler or Caitlin Wilson Designs or something of that nature, then I'm going to get a designer that's got their own unique sense of style. Philippe Starck, for example, these are people that revolutionized the interior design industry. That's what I'm looking for. Do your own thing. It's got to have your own voice and your own creative flair that reflects who you are as a person and your own personal taste. And that will set you apart. I'm going to take a few jewelry examples for you, but I have to take a sip of water first, so sorry. So, for example, Tiffany's. What makes Tiffany's different? Well, if you go to their Fifth Avenue store, it doesn't really look that different on the inside. But they've got really great lighting, their rings really sparkle, and of course, everybody thinks the Tiffany blue box. So how have they differentiated their marketing? Everything's got the Tiffany blue color associated. You go on their Instagram, loaded with Tiffany blue. You look at their boxes, and their gift packaging loaded with Tiffany blue. So they have, you look at all their ads, in every piece of ad space that they have bought for the last, 50 years, Tiffany blue. And that is how they've differentiated themselves. Take Cartier. Cartier, you think red or burgundy. Absolutely. You see, you can visualize that beautiful logo in your head, and you can see the beautiful, beautiful colors that come from it. And all of the backgrounds of their ads, most of them are burgundy. If not, they've got like a burgundy twist inside of it, and they have their own look and feel. That's kind of what I'm talking about. So I think that may be the easiest way to describe it. And I think that a lot of, the slogan of today's lesson is it's better to be different than it is to be better. But I also think it's important to be both. I think in this day and age, if you really want to make it, you definitely need to be different and differentiate the look and feel of your brand, especially digitally, and set that aside and make that different from anybody else out there. But I also think that you need to, in addition, I think you need to try to give better service, have a better product, have better designs, and really do everything the very, very best you can and try to do it better than everybody else. So it's better to be different than better, but try to be better and different. That's my slogan. So I hope that you've all enjoyed this session. I don't see any more questions coming in. I'm going to check one more time. I'm going to scroll down. Forgive me. See if there was anything that I did not answer. Oh, can couples fully choose and design their own rings through virtual appointments? Absolutely. You can customize any one of our designs to fit your need. My husband is the designer at our company. His name is Douglas Elliott, and he has a lot of designs on the shelf, and they're all on our website at marisaperry.com. And you can modify any of those designs to fit your perfect need. If you say, I love this ring, but I want it in an oval, great. Can I have it in rose gold? Absolutely. I love this, but I want the band to be thinner or thicker. Absolutely. So we modify it to your own personal taste, and then you can kind of help and participate in the design process of your own ring. So hold on. Let's see what else we have here. I think I've got them all. There was one that I did not. I think I'll finish with this one. Are there any experiences that I took from 9/11 or 2008 that helped me with this experience now? And first of all, number one, 9/11, I was not in this business. I was in another business, and that was crazy, 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 and a crazy time. And I did meet my husband and start this company in 2002. But I was around for 2008 when we had that huge housing crisis and that huge, really a slump of a real recession. And that recession was based on the fact that they were giving mortgages to absolutely anyone and anybody and loaning out money to anybody and everybody, and they couldn't repay their loans. So it was basically creating false money that people actually couldn't afford to repay. So that's a problem. And this time it's not that. Normally our economy was doing amazingly well before this happened. We had the lowest unemployment ever in the history of our company in every demographic. So I believe that once we're able to open back up for work, that should come back soon enough. It may take a month or two to really kind of completely revive itself. But I think that because those were real concrete numbers and everybody saw that possibility, people will be trying to and expecting to do that kind of business again when they reopen. So my advice to companies who are wondering, and if there's something I took away from it now that I could impart to you, is to keep forging on. I mean, I've only been closed, what, 2 weeks? Is 2 weeks really going to damage my business forever? I don't think so. I hope not. And knock on wood again. So I think that just keep moving forward. Make a lot of noise online. Keep moving forward. We're going to reopen soon enough. And just try to do the very, very best you can every day, to do everything you can every day to make your business work, and you will be golden. So I'll leave you with that. And are there any more questions from anybody before I head away? I'm checking out my little thing here. I don't see any. Nope. Oh, wait. Oh, this is an interesting question. I did not see this. Thank you. This is from Gem48. Have your own tastes changed in business? Has the look and feel of your brand evolved and changed? Oh my God, so much. Thank you for asking that. No one has ever thought to ask that before. So first of all, when I first opened up, my logo was green and gray. And in my Soho shop, I had these pale kind of celadon walls. It was really beautiful and really like popular at the time, but really beautiful, and with kind of a charcoal gray. So I painted my store with celadon walls and this fabulous like grassy whitish green molding, and it was beautiful. And I changed the color to colors more in the color story behind me here at home, because the green walls were making all of my diamonds look yellow, and I had to change them, and I had to rebrand everything in blue. So I chose blue as my color because I thought it was a cooler color that could make my diamonds look whiter. Cooler as in warm, cool. So the color story of all of my branding changed. So that changed from green to more of a blue tone. And then when I opened up the store, we were using more taupes and neutral, colors on the walls. So our color story was the blue, but it was dark blue because all of our jewelry forms are dark blue, taupe, gray, white, and platinum. So that's kind of our color story. So we work within those now. And I think that when I opened my new store, we were able to carry the personality from the old store into the new store, into the new space. And I say new, but I've been around 5 years now in that space. And I feel like I have realized the connection between me and the look and feel of my brand that I had never considered before. I always thought brands are, a nice logo and doing a brand with a certain look to the merchandise, but it's a little more. If you're a designer, it is more like, who's Marisa Perry? What is her personal taste, and what is the look and feel of her brand, and how can she communicate that across all platforms? So I'm still honing it 17 years later, 18 years later. I'm still honing the look and feel of my brand, but I think I finally nailed it. And I think in a couple of weeks, when our website refresh goes up, you're going to be able to get a better look and feel. I think that the patterns in the back of the website, we're using a cherry blossom pattern. It will have a little bit more of the feeling of the color story and of my store. And I think that my Instagram page will tie into that color story, and I think it's going to be tighter. So I think I think that our look and feel of our brand is morphed. I wish it hadn't all these years, but it does, and it has evolved. But I think it kind of evolves to a point, and then it stays. I think what I'm picking now is forever, and I believe that this will be the beginning of forever in our new brand launch in a couple of weeks. So I'll let you all know when that is. So I am going to see if I have any more new questions. Let's see. No, thank you all for joining me. So every Friday at 3 o'clock, we do Female Founder Fridays, and I try to pick a topic to discuss about business for all of my younger female founder members. So I've been in business for a long time. I was in business for 18 years before I started my own company 18 years ago. That's 36 years, and I have gained a lot of experience, some that I learned in school, some through the School of Hard Knocks, and I am more than delighted to share it all with you every Friday at 3 o'clock on Female Founder Fridays. So come up with questions, any questions you like. Every week I'll have a topic, but I'm even more excited about answering your questions. So thank you very much. And if I go through this now and find any questions I missed and overlooked, I'll record answers either today or sometime this week. So thanks a lot. Bye, guys. Thank you very much for joining. So long.